Well, one of the things you talk about that's really interesting is I don't expect the person that's falling in love with me to accept all of me. I realize that I still am going to have to change for the one.
Yeah, of course.
What is your belief on that? I want you to explain that a little bit more. Let's dive into that because that's something that really got to me. I really liked that a lot, the viewpoint on that.
Yeah, so I mean it just this is just a objective that, the core stereotypical belief is that the person you love will accept all of you like this.
Right.
That's a Disney fantasy illusion I don't believe in. I think
Hmm.
the essence of you is loved.
Right.
At my core, my essence feels loved by my wife. However, if my wife or me constantly brought unhealed parts to the table constantly, that's going to push anyone away who's healthy. It's a reality. Furthermore, each person has a unique way of being loved.
Hmm.
That's a fact.
Hmm.
Everyone needs different communication things. My wife needs very different things, and I've had other one. I need very different things, and she's had other men. That's gonna be if you're a vulnerable, genuine person, you're gonna
Right.
honor what you need
Right.
if it's coming from a healthy place.
Yes.
And what a beautiful way to be met there.
Right.
I when I was younger, I didn't even know what my needs were. I had no idea what they were. I just was trying to please everyone and make them happy. Total different experience when you actually yourself are like, okay, what do I need?
Yes.
And then giving someone the chance to meet you there and really being brave enough to say, if you can't meet me here, this isn't for me.
Hmm.
I one big thing with my wife was that, I what I do is out there. It's strange. It's different, and I had to know that you really support me in this, and you're gonna be there for me and watch my things and have conversations about the stuff like that. That's a requisite because I can't not do that. So
Right.
it's and I think real love is being excited to meet someone there, right? Instead of
Exactly.
someone bringing that to you saying, "Hey, I really appreciate you saying this way,"
Hmm.
and then some people are like, "What the?" They take it personally. I'm not enough. What the hell?
Right.
Those who are real lovers say, "Oh wow, like I hear you, and I'll do that," because it's a
Hmm.
simple shift to make someone feel better. That's love.
Yes.
That's love. And people, the counterpoint to that would be then like you're sacrificing yourself, and that part of love is sacrificing yourself. Not the
It
whole
is.
thing. Part of
Right.
love is growing. You can't grow without sacrificing something.
Right. Yeah, I know. The biggest thing for me, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, is it sounds like similarly to me, you were a little bit a people pleaser growing up, it sounds like.
Yeah, big time.
Very
I
much
still work on it.
myself. Very much myself. And I think for the longest time, I didn't really know who Lauren was. I didn't really know what Lauren's needs were because all I kept caring about was the other person's needs and the other person's wants, and ultimately straying away from my own within connection, my own self connection. And so after the divorce, I'm now realizing being propelled back to the dating world like, holy shit, what do I ultimately need? And tapping into who Lauren is and not who Lauren was for everybody else. I think it's been hard for me because I lived so many years of thinking that I was doing fine, thinking that my needs were being met, thinking I knew myself, and I really didn't.
Hmm.
And it took marrying the wrong person, becoming a mom, for me to finally realize, wow, like having an aha moment almost, even though that may sound so, cliche, and realizing I have totally not connected to who I really am all these years. And so now it's time for me to do this. And with meditation and therapy, EMDR, and all the things that I talk about on the podcast, I think ultimately all of that has really helped me connect to who I am, like at my soul, at my core.
Hmm.
And I think unless people do that, which you say is the hard shit, which it is, and a lot of people don't want to put in the time and the work into that. Unless you truly do that, you're not going to put the correct energy out there in regards to attracting the right partner for you.
For sure. Well, as you said, no, it's a brave journey. I'm happy you've taken, but again, it takes some guts.
Yeah.
That's the real stuff. That's where real strength comes in. I used to think I was strong because of what I lifted and the woman I used to give. I realized that
Mhm.
strength comes from your ability to face the stuff. That's where real strength comes in.
Now, do you
Um,
counsel men one on one?
yeah,
Okay. Is that something you newly started?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I try to talk to everyone, but I do find men gravitating towards me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I really hope as time goes on that more men watch what you're doing, and Chris Perry does very similar things to like what you do, and to a woman it's very attractive to see a younger gentleman come on and start promoting more, connection to within for men. I think we're getting there. I think we're moving in the right direction. I just don't think we're totally there yet.
No, sadly not. But there's a delicate dance for women, which is that I do think the bulk of this lies in men.
Hmm.
However, it's also important for a woman to do the work like you did.
Hmm.
It's a lot of women just wait. But I see a lot of women wait for the right man, like someone like me or someone who's done this work to come save them.
Right.
It's not going to work.
No.
So there's a delicate balance of yes, having the hope and the vision for men to do this, and understanding that men have to lead the way here. At the same time, each person also has a responsibility to take the time away from the relationship wisely to get to a place where they face some of this stuff. So, and like you said, like attracts like.
Yeah.
So the more
No,
you do
I
clear
agree.
yourself, the more you do attract someone like that. And they're out there. There's not
Hmm.
not the common thing, but they're out there.
What do you tell your single friends that are like, "Hey, Lucas, where do I go to meet the right person for me?" If it's not the dating apps, it's obviously not going to be possibly the bars. What are some alternative ideas in meeting, putting yourself in an environment where you're meeting like-minded people?
Yeah, I don't have a popular answer. I what I do tell my male friends, it's different for men and women, but I'll try and
Right.
make a universal answer, is that when you're trying to attract people through force, you're only going to push them away.
Mm,
When you attract through a place of having a center and feeling complete in yourself, you're a magnet. That's
mm,
the truth. Um, you know, believe what you want by manifestation, but there's a whole different experience of trying to force and will your way into change and then spending years doing it. Or those I know who just surrender and they
right.
surrender and they're in the present and the things come to them. So that's the same with dating. And I think men really feel this is that, times where I was single when I was out there like forcing my way, I need someone right now, I have to do it.
Right.
You know, women are like cats that way. They run away. But then I was in my center and still and sitting on my throne and feeling confident, feeling good in myself, not needing female validation. It was a magnet. That's when I eventually found my wife. And the same for women. It's the truth of the universe. Is that it's the more you need and want something, the less you're going to get it. And that's a fact. And the question then becomes the work for women becomes to sit with themselves, think about like their goal of having this amazing husband,
Right.
and then feeling what it's like to not have that and that lack,
Mm,
and then processing that, and then and surrendering that to feel whole. And it's in that game of feeling whole and centered and in your whole that you become a magnet, that you actually attract people. So being attractive is it's in the linguistics. It's that you can't attract if you're forcing, if you're running, if you're sprinting, right? You can't sprint your way into finding love. You gotta be in that beingness. That's when you become a magnet towards something finding you. How can something find you if you're out there sprinting every chance you get? You kind of have to let these things come to you. I'm not saying to like sit. But anyway, I have a story, that even tells us. A friend of mine um, first met their husband. This dude was an agoraphobe. An agoraphobe is someone who can't leave their house. They're scared of
right.
leaving their house.
Right.
I think that's a word. And he literally didn't leave his house for years. And one day she went to her friend's house and she knocked on the wrong door. And then this guy was there and they were married. So it's like even
No way.
I don't like using that example, it's just great, but even if you just didn't do much,
Yeah.
if you're gonna meet the person, you meet the person. So yeah, I'd say the energy and frequency of swiping all the time and putting yourself in a bar and trying to look pretty and reading a book like that that is sending the signal of chasing. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really being in the frequency of when you feel like you have to chase and you need something to regulate yourself to a place where you know you're complete in yourself. And in that frequency is when you attract.
So attract instead of chase. I know they say that all the time.
Yeah, they say it's a whole different, that's the inner work.
Yes, it
That
is.
that
Saying
and
it
it,
and doing it are two different things, right? Word versus actions.
for sure. And actually attracting and surrendering is a brutal process because it
It
ends up
is.
you have to face what you feel like where you're incomplete.
In your
That's not
experience,
fun.
do you think women are more willing to do the work on whether it be generational trauma, childhood trauma, and get their energy in alignment versus men? Or you think men are right up there? Maybe we just don't hear about it as much.
Um, I'd say in the general stereotypical answer is that it's always the woman trying to do the work and the man avoiding it. Um, so I'd say that.
Because of ego? You think it's because of ego?
Well,
Or men connect vulnerability to weakness?
well, the male men in their shadow, which most are, need power and domination to feel good.
Like a man.
So, like a man, exactly.
Hmm.
So their perception of feeling like a man is essentially being this woman's everything, this woman's sex object, sex trophy, has access to whatever he wants, can control
Right.
their life. That's how they feel powerful. And the spiritual journey for a man is to surrender that,
Right.
is to lose that ego, essentially, in my perspective.
Right.
And that's a whole different worldview for men to understand. It's weird that you actually get more power, more respect, the more you surrender, the more you're away from your ego. So men have twisted is that they think that they'll feel more powerful and get more women the more they're dominating and all that. It's the opposite. It's the opposite way around.
Well, I think it's like false masculinity too,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
but I mean, we're in a issue. The issue I see right now is that either men are like way too I don't know, toxic is the word, but way too aggressive and in their shadow,
Right.
or complete simp. Right? They have no
Yes.
backbone. And
Correct.
woman, it's either he's a complete nice guy or he's a complete asshole. That's what I always
Hmm.
hear.
Yes.
A real man's in the middle,
Yes.
and that those men are tough to find. So women either find themselves like, I don't want to be, I'm not sexually attracted to the nice guy. I like the asshole, but he's an asshole. And then this flip flop. So the game is to find someone in the middle.
Well,
You
and
know,
that's the woman's responsibility too to shift the whole mindset about the bad boy theory. You know, they always say women are attracted to the bad boys,
yeah.
which
But I believe men got to have a little bad in them.
a little bit,
Yeah. So
a little bit.
that's
I
my
agree.
perspective.
Having a
I
little edge doesn't hurt anybody.
you need it.
Yeah.
I think you need it. Not so. How do I explain this? If you feel like you're seeing a man and he's afraid of telling you what he thinks and what is true to him, that you lose respect for him. If he's
Right.
hiding his truth, it takes some guts for a man to say actually what he thinks, what he believes in, while also giving you space to process and react the way you want to react without controlling you.
Right.
That's a delicate art. That
Yes.
so yeah, it's not, you don't want this dark bad boy really, but you want a man who has the capacity to be bad but chooses not to.
Right.
Who can be bad but chooses to be safe. Who Because the only way a man's safe is that he gets ahead of his own anger, his own sadness, his own grief,
Hmm.
and he has to be connected to that somehow.
No, it's very true. Um, I have watched a lot of your reels, and something that I've really connected to is how you educate, but you educate in a way where it's like it's in layman's terms. You know, it just it clicks. It makes sense. How many years have you been like working on your craft and diving into the healer and guide world? Has this something that's occurred in the last few years, or is this something you innately have always known that you've had inside of you and now you're advertising it?
It's been 6 years. Um, I'm 27, so since I was 21, I've been kind of working at
Okay.
this. But I took a different approach. And what I advocate is that, sure, I read thousands of books. I studied under various gurus and all that good stuff.
Right.
Um, but what I realize is that it's a matter of consciousness. The more I expand in consciousness, the more I expand in my awareness, the more I connect with what I believe to be the true source of everything. The more I connect with that and lose my ego more and more, the more you have access to this information. Wise people, it's nothing special about them. It's that they just open themselves up to a different frequency.
Yes.
So it really is the biggest gift you can give to the world is to heal yourself. And the more you're healed as an individual, the more you actually have access to this information. The more you start channeling things, the more you can speak to these things. So this isn't, sure, I've done the things that work, but
Right.
it only really changed when I actually became love. I became closer to what I believe to be awareness. In that place, you then actually have access to more information. So when I heal people, it's the intention I have is I have to get out of the way.
Right.
It's more the more I get out of the way and I give space to what can come through me, that things actually click.
Almost like you're a vessel.
Yeah,
Hmm.
literally that.
Yeah.
Literally that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the truth. So we're all vessels, and the more we try and be a vessel, rather than be this controlling little ego who needs everything to
Hmm.
go their way,
Hmm.
that's when things get easy.
Yeah. No, I agree. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. You're a breath of fresh air, and I love what you do. And yeah, I support it. I think a lot of women that follow me that watch this episode with you and I are going to take something away from it for sure. And, I hope more men listen to you and have respect for you and follow you and support you in this world because you're great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You
Yeah.
too. I appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you.